Welcome to the WealthGenius Podcast, brought to you by the Expand Wealth Real Estate Fund. Expand your wealth by investing in apartment buildings. Go to expandwealthfund.com to book your info session. The WealthGenius Podcast, strategies for multifamily real estate investing, mindset, community, success. The WealthGenius Podcast with your host, the godfather of real estate, Alfonso Cuadra, who has expansive experience in business and massive success as a real estate investor. The WealthGenius Podcast. Let's dive into today's episode.
Rolling. Theresa, welcome to the pod.
Hello, thank you.
Good to have you here. We met a while back. You came to a few of my events. I think you were kind of checking us out a little bit, and then you decided to move forward and be part of the community. And man, are you a part of the community? You're, definitely a leader within the community. I feel like you found your home. I feel that you add so much to our members, and you always are bringing value, and you're consistently plugged in. You're at every event. You just show up, and every time you do, you're adding value to people and people's lives. So I want to thank you for that, and I'm so happy you're here. And there's a lot to talk about because, even though we know each other for about a year and a half, I'm trying to remember, about a year and a half, I don't know all of your story, right? And that's the juicy part. That's what I want to get into. And so before we get into the real estate side of things, how did you get started?
So I've heard your story that you bought your first piece of real estate when you were 20 years old, and so did I.
Nice.
And my parents helped me with a down payment, and so I bought my first house. And I guess for me, is going back, is that my grandfather was actually a landlord. And so he had all of this experience, and I was 20, so I really didn't think he knew anything at all, even though he had all the experience. And I bought my first house, realized how broke I was now. Because although my parents had helped me with a down payment, that was it. And then now I had utilities and what you like to teach us called leaks, and utilities and taxes and insurance and repairs and maintenance, and the list went on and on and on. And a light bulb moment really happened, is that a friend of mine came over for coffee one day, and she said, congratulations on the house. And I said, this is not good, right? And she'd never owned a house, and she says, well, I'll rent from you, and I'll pay you more than what it costs you. Oh, right? So I
ding,
was
ding, 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 ding.
Exactly. So I had this major light bulb moment, and I was like, absolutely. So right from that moment, really being hooked to that, and then going from that moment and really looking at the fact that I'm broke again. So even though I had the house rented out, I'm still broke. And that back in the day, in the 80s, when I got into the business, is that wholesaling
You were 2 years old?
I was, thank you. Thank you very much. Absolutely. And so when I realized I was broke again, going, well, I felt great. I owned my house. Then I realized how broke I was again, and then having to go out, and now what am I going to do? So I just started getting on the phone. They actually had home phones back then. We didn't have Google, didn't have internet, right?
The olden days.
It was. So it was a lot of hunting. And taking that and meeting a real estate agent, and him saying to me, well, what we can do is we can put assignment clauses in there. And so that's what we started doing, was literally going to sellers, negotiating the prices, and then being able to put an assignment clause and being able to wholesale it to another cash buyer. And was doing that in the 80s and to the 90s. And
I remember a lot of these assignment clauses. It's so trendy to talk about wholesaling, and in those days they just call it assignments. They always come up with like newer, better words to describe the same thing. But you do a lot of wholesaling.
I don't. It's more where I started.
Yeah.
I've done 2 this year.
Okay,
I
yeah. I always say that to people. If you're going to be building a portfolio, and if you're doing this seriously, you should have a wholesale division, because you're going to be looking at a whole bunch of deals. You're going to be putting deals under contract, and let's say by the time you're done, you maybe have 2 or 3 deals under contract. Well, you're not going to be able to pursue all of them. So you just choose the one that you want, and then that fits your criteria, and then you can wholesale the rest. And then all of the work of acquisition, putting the team together, you can actually help fund that through the wholesale process.
Absolutely. So as I'm analyzing a deal for wholesaling, if it's a really good one, I'm going to close on it and do a fix and flip on it. And then if it's a really good one, I'm going to do the BRRRR strategy on it. So really, wholesaling, I feel, is the beginning.
Yes.
I really do. If you're starting off in real estate and you haven't done anything yet and you're broke as a joke like I was, I would recommend getting into wholesaling to start off with and then going from there.
Nice.
Because of everything that you can learn from wholesaling. Yeah. So it's all about negotiating.
And I think they can learn this from you. What you wrote a book? What's going on with the book?
I did. So I wrote the book called Insta Wholesaler. And what I like about this is I got the tag where Insta from Instagram.
Yeah. Well, everybody's Insta. Everybody wants Insta results today.
Everybody wants Insta something.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty. Can I see that?
Absolutely.
That's pretty catchy.
Absolutely.
Right. So instantly unleash hidden potential. I love that. And this is great. Yeah. So when did you come out with this book?
The book was just completed October.
Oh, wow.
So 2 months ago. So this is going to be my first weekend launch.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And how can they, is there a website to find the book?
There is. So going to www.theresabeneteau.com and we can set you up with getting a book. Absolutely. You can do Kindle. You can do paperback as well.
Yeah. So all the information will be in the show notes. And so you started with wholesaling and then what?
Went into fix and flips. BRRRR actually went into. So I was doing BRRRRs, and then there was a thing of a market crash. So I'm not sure if this podcast is going to be 30 years long or 30 minutes long or 20 minutes. But the point is there were a lot of recessions.
Yes.
So I was getting into the BRRRRs. I was acquiring these properties. I thought I was getting good deals. I was getting them with no down payment. I was using creative financing because again, I didn't have any money. That was the consistent theme. And then when the recession happened and I had to refinance at 5% higher. Now, back in the day, 11.75% was the going rate. I've seen them as high as 21.75%. And when I had to refi, it was at 14.75% and lost everything and went through my first bankruptcy.
Wow. And that must have been tough.
It was. And that's where the internal dialogue comes in going like, what are you doing, Theresa? You're not cut out for this. Real estate isn't for you. And I seen my parents struggle, like my passion, my deep down inside of me is I seen my parents struggle. They both had jobs. They couldn't work the same shift because they had a child. So dad was on afternoons, mom was on days. So there was a lot of arguing in the house. And I just seen how miserable they were. When I broke my arm when I was a little girl, my dad couldn't get off work to be there. And all I thought of was when I get older, I'm going to make sure I'm an at-home mom. I'm going to make sure I'm there when I have a family. So for me, real estate became the vehicle. So when I hit the bankruptcy and I hit a wall, I was like, maybe it's not meant to be.
Wow.
And then I went and I got another JOB, which we all know is just over broke. And again, I was miserable, realizing this isn't what I'm meant to be, and gathered up enough funds to go and do it again. Partnered up.
That takes courage. I always talk with a lot of our students, and they share some of the things. And for the most part, everyone's gone through some sort of up and down. But it takes courage to get up again, right after you've hit the ground. And you know what? That's the difference maker. That's the what splits the society, versus the 96% versus the 4% people that are really doing things, is that they have that courage to keep going despite the fact that they probably fell a few times.
Absolutely, and getting back up and getting into a partnership with a real estate agent, and again, another recession hit. This time everything was in his name. He went bankrupt.
Oh, boy.
We lost it all again.
Wow.
And coming back up again, and another recession, and coming back up again. So going through multiple recessions.
Yeah.
And, you know, and all of through this, coaching wasn't sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I wanted to be a football player,
Yeah.
coaching wasn't a thing. So
Yeah.
there wasn't even a thing of getting a coach. So when I got my first coach in 2019, you know, so here I was all of these years in the industry. Mm-hmm. And, you know, finally going, okay, clearly.
So, like, what I see is that you were so determined that you kept falling, but you just kept coming back. You know what I mean? The cat came back the very next day. You know what I mean? And you have a no give up attitude, and which I think it's why you're successful today.
And I believe that is I just wasn't going to stay down. Mm-hmm. Some people just, you know, that's it after 1, 2, 3.
So what's the I think our audience can get some value out of this. What are the things that someone has to do, and maybe someone's going through this right now, right? Mm. Like we are in a time in a market where there's definitely a bit of a correction happening in some markets across North America, and maybe someone's over leveraged. They got hit with the high interest rates, and now that the interest rates are coming down, that's great, but they already bled out.
Yes.
How do they keep going, Theresa? Like, what did you have to do specifically to pick yourself back up and keep going?
My why. Mm. The why is everything. I was a single mom for a period, so I did get married. The marriage didn't work out. I was on my own with a 3-year-old, and decided to become a mortgage broker. Again, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be in real estate, but I'm going to be so passive that I'm going to be on this side of the ownership, right? Yeah. I'm just going to help other people succeed. And a lot of it was that I knew that there was a way. So what I did was, it's almost taking myself away from ownership, taking myself away from all that, putting it into other people, watching them succeed. And only through then going, well, if I'm helping them build their portfolios, it means that I can too. If you're coming into my office and I'm saying, Alfonso, don't do that, do this instead, and then I'm producing millionaires.
So what you realized is like, wait a minute, all of these negative things that happened to me are actually making me stronger. And now that I know what to avoid, like you made the mistakes already, right? I love it.
Yeah, it was the mistakes that gave me the most knowledge. Because I don't talk about so much the deals where I made the money. It's look at where I didn't. Yeah. Look at what happened. So a lot of it is the personal development. It's just being in the, you know, I was involved in a multi-level marketing company for, I think, 10 years. Yeah. And I went to all their events.
I always encourage people when they ask me, should I sell this thing or, you know, any type of direct selling type of product, I always encourage people to do it. It's the best way to get into business at such a low cost, and there's so much to be learned from that experience. I went through it myself. My oldest daughter, you know, in her early 20s, she came to me. She asked me, Dad, there's this opportunity of, you know, this cosmetic line that does this direct selling thing. Do you think it's a good idea? And I said, honey, absolutely, go for it. Because, you know, I know that people that are successful in that field are people that are determined. They build skills, leadership, all of that stuff. There's nothing negative that can come out of it.
And some things will make you money, and some things will build you character.
Yes.
And I was a door knocker. I sold vacuums.
Wow.
So I'll tell you, if you can get a door slammed in your face,
that's good. That's value.
There is, and I was just like you said, I was just determined. Where I'm just not going to. How could I couldn't turn my back on my dreams, and because I seen how my parents struggled so much, that was my fire.
Yeah.
And I would have to say is that any strong why, and you taught us, you know, you teach that too. Yeah. Is you're like, what's your why?
Yeah. It's so important, and I often say to people when those moments get tough, when you feel like throwing in the towel, where you wonder, why did I even start this in the first place? Why am I here? Like, what am I doing? Remember why you started. That why that got you excited about real estate in the first place. Remember that why when it gets a little dark.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's what you found. You know, you were able to, go through it, all the ups and downs, and you're here. You're here. You're on stages. You're on podcasts. You have you're an author. Like, that must be an incredible feeling. How does it feel?
It feels really good, where I really wanted to. My birthday's actually on Sunday. I'm going to be 57.
Whoa.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And
57.
57, yes.
So young.
Yes. And there's no other place that I'd rather be is be at a conference like this, an event like this, being able to promote my book like this, where I'm not going to live forever. I'm going till I'm at least 100. That's my plan, is that I plan on being on one of your podcasts in 43 years from now.
Let's do it.
And another book written by then, and having that moment. And these are the things that I'm striving for. In the meantime, is that I wanted to put the things that I had done basically wrong in a book so that people could learn from my mistakes. I want to leave an impression. I want to leave a legacy. I want to be remembered long after I'm gone, where if there's one person out there that my book can inspire, that can teach, maybe there's someone, like you said, maybe someone needs to hear this. Maybe there's some young person out there that's going, oh, but I can't, or, that they read my book and they go, wow, like, if she can do it, so can I.
So give us some tips that are in the book. Like, what are you, is it like some tips or top 5 tips or mistakes that are in that book? Can you give us a little glimpse, little taste?
I would say my biggest thing is due diligence. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I was 20, 21 and younger, before a coach, it was called do what, right? My due diligence was, 2 + 2 = 4. I think I can fix that for $5. I can do that for $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it for $300,000 more than what I paid.
Assuming.
Oh, yeah, and it made blank out of you and me, I'll tell you, right? And so going through the due diligence part of that and going, wait a minute, get the quotes, get the contractors, that you don't need a deal. And that's what a lot, it was my thing was, I got to have a deal. Mm-hmm. So all that it meant was I got to have something. It didn't mean it was a deal. Mm-hmm. Right? So I lost money there. So those are some of the things that I touch on there as far as due diligence goes. I'm the power of 3. So make sure that you're getting 3 appraisers, 3 different opinions on appraisal points. So it can be from an appraiser, it can be from a real estate agent, getting a couple realtors to actually analyze that, going to a banker, because the bankers can even pull out what that possibility of a property is going to be valued at. Another key takeaway is getting an after repair value appraisal, so that, again, you're not basing it on speculation.
You're not guessing.
Yes.
Hoping to make money, smoking the hopium.
Yes, and hope. And hope's not a strategy, but I really thought it was. Right.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things. Another one that I'll touch on is getting more than one inspection, because one inspector could be used to, he was a foundation expert in his previous career, so he's going to come in and just focus on the foundation more, but he's not going to notice the electrical. Maybe he might not notice, the roof as much, or inside where mold is. The next inspector comes in and he's more into mold because of his last experience. So by having 2 different eyeballs on it. So those are some of the things that I put in the book, is that, because I purchase properties from wholesalers. And another one of my biggest reasons of creating a lot of wholesalers is so that I have people that I can go to buy good properties from.
Yes.
If they know what they're doing. So if they're getting the appraisal and they're getting the inspection report, anybody, any cash buyer out there can almost buy sight unseen, because now they have everything. Right? So those are some of the things. Pictures. Oh my goodness. So many wholesalers. All that they do is they put a picture of the front of the house and they say, buy this. It's a great deal.
But there's no pictures of the inside, the back, the land,
Or they take a picture of the nice stuff. Mm-hmm. But then you show up at the property for a walkthrough and you can see the sun from the inside of the house without using the window.
Wow.
Right? So those are the things that it's really coming out there, that literally the book breaks it apart into such detail, is that as you're analyzing the deal and you're doing your due diligence, that really you're at a point now where you're almost saying to yourself, at a point of doing a couple of deals, you go, well, why don't I keep it and do this for myself then? Because look at the numbers.
Yeah.
And I've had investors say, I just did a flip in July, and I was trying to wholesale it out because I already had another one on the go. I had two, when you have too many things going on. And an investor actually said to me, you know what, well, why aren't you doing it if it's such a good deal? So I did it. And it closed on the 9th.
Nice.
So I was like,
congratulations.
Thank you. So it was like, okay, don't threaten me with a good time, right? So it's but it's because of the due diligence, right? That I would say is the biggest thing is the due diligence and walking through it and knowing when to walk away. It's okay.
That's a big one. Knowing when to walk away. Know when to hold them.
Yes, Kenny Rogers.
Yeah,
yes.
Know when to fold them.
Yes.
Right. Know when it's time that this is a great opportunity, but maybe not for me.
That's right.
Right. Not every opportunity is for you. What's next for Theresa?
What's next for Theresa? Well, I would honestly say that my big goal right now, that my coach, Mandy Branham, big shout out to her because she's incredible.
Yeah.
And what we've done is that we put it together. So for my birthday, I had to make a decision. And so what I'm doing is my goal is 60 deals by the time I turn 60 years old.
Let's go.
And the biggest part of that is that it's not going to just be about Theresa.
Yeah.
It's going to be about impacting other people's lives. So literally looking for 10 people who want to do 6 deals in 3 years, which is 2 deals per month, or 2 deals per year, sorry. So one every 6 months. So really embarking that with other people that are on a mission that they want to move their needle.
Yeah.
And it's all about including people. It really, that's my big
people.
thing. It is,
Yeah.
it is. It's got very little to do about what I want. I mean, but I also know through your training platform as well, and with my knowledge, is that I know that if I help enough people get what they want, I'm going to get what I want.
It will be automatic.
100%.
What inspires you?
The biggest thing, I was sharing with a young lady last night when we were out for dinner, and my son had called. We were in the middle of talking, me and this young lady, and my son called. And I took the call, and we had a laugh, and he says, I see that you're going to be, on stage, and you're doing that, and he's 25 now, and he lives on his own, and he's in school for a master's degree, and he really has no desire to do real estate yet. Mm-hmm. And so, because he's been watching his mom, right?
I like how you said yet.
Yet. And so I was talking to him, and he says to me, he says, well, there's another young lady, Mom, I'm seeing her on her Facebook group, and she's, broadcasting, that she needs to release some weight because she's overweight, she feels, and she wants to release weight. And he says, Mom, he goes, this woman is on Facebook Live and saying, I need to release this weight, and by this date, this is my goal and this is my why. And my son, Shane, last night says to me, he goes, I have a feeling, Mom, you were sitting right next to her when she went Facebook Live, weren't you?
Wow.
And I'm like, and I'm smiling, and I said, Shane, I said, this is beautiful. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, you're watching me on Facebook. I said, you actually are getting, some of my content or whatever. And I said, yes, I had a part in that. Yes, I was sitting next to her. But when you said, what's the passion and what's the why, is that I feel a lot of times, and it's going to make me cry, I feel a lot of times that I can't teach my son anymore. He's 25. He's doing well. I'm super proud of him. And I feel like I can't teach him like I could when he was a little boy. Mm-hmm. And I feel that every time that I write a book, do a podcast, do a Facebook Live, do my Trailblazing Tribe, calls twice a week because I give value on that group. I also do the Tuesdays is the Trailblazing Tuesdays, right? I do that consistently every Tuesday live, is that it gives me a chance to teach on that with the hope in the back of my mind going that whether my son reads it now or when I'm gone, but that I can leave these tidbits behind that are going to put wheels in motion. And then on a bigger world scale is that when I'm not here and my son needs help, I hope that I've impacted enough people that they're going to be there to help him.
Well, I think this podcast is gonna live for a long time. We don't know if he's gonna listen to it. We're gonna hope he's gonna listen to this podcast. What do you want to say to your son right now?
Just that I love him so much. He means the absolute world to me. And I wanted for him when I was 20, when I got into this I knew what happened when my dad couldn't be there for me when I was 12. When my son broke his arm, God forbid, but he did, I was there. Yeah. And I've never missed one event in his life of what's gone on because I'm self-employed. Anytime he's needed me, I am there.
You're a good mama. You're a good mama.
And that's what still burns inside of me today is that he knows that if something happens this weekend and he needs me home, I'm there. I'm on a flight. I'm in a train. I'm in a car. He knows that I'm going to come in. Shane,
listen up. Listen to your mom.
You know, but yeah, it just he's the wind beneath my wings, and I shared that. It's funny you said that because I shared that with him last night by text.
I got goosebumps. You're a passionate person. You everything you do is with class, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming here, and that's how we'll close the podcast with a little bit of tears, a little bit of emotion, and hopefully Shane is listening.
Yeah,
maybe he'll call you right after this. That's what it is, guys. Alfonso loves you. We'll see you at the top. Let's go.